Isaac here, and on today's video we're going to do a market breakdown on EURUSD, EURCHF and gold. Let's jump right into the video. Let's start off our analysis on EURUSD. So on EURUSD on the daily time frame, we can clearly see that the market is actually trending to the downside. If you've not watched the previous video that was posted on YouTube, you can actually go and watch, then you will actually see our forecast, right? So we're actually expecting this price to actually drop, right? Because clearly we have impulse and correction nature of the market, right? We have the impulse correction, the impulse and correction, right? So before we had this correction, right, we're actually in a corrective phase. We're actually expecting a breakout of this correction, right? And that's what has happened. You can clearly see, if you watch our forecast, you actually see what I'm talking about. So let me just show you how we took this straight to the downside. On the 4-hour time frame, if I should put on this indicator is actually telling us where the market actually, started, for the week, right? So the market opened right here. So when the market opened, we actually waited for the break of this pattern, right? So we had a breakout of this pattern and then a correction. So you can see it's the same thing that we are looking on the daily time frame, but this time around we are looking at it on the 4-hour time frame. It's the same structure that the market keeps on printing, right? So we have an impulse, correction, and an impulse. So this is our impulse, this is our correction, and this is the impulse. So how did we take this trade actually? I'm just going to show you our entry. So you can see that the market was actually creating a corrective nature right here. On the 1-hour time frame, if we zoom in, you can see right here that the market tried going to the upside and it got rejected at this level, right? That's why I have this zone right here. So we had a rejection. The market also rejected here. We pulled in, we rejected, rejected. So this was actually a level that the market was actually finding it very hard to actually break. So on a 15 minutes time frame, I saw this pattern, right? This small pattern is actually a rising wedge, right? So if I should draw this is a separation of pattern. This is something we also teach, right? So we had a rising wedge. This is a pattern within a pattern. Already you know that we have this whole structure as one pattern. We also have a pattern within this whole structure, right? And this is a rising wedge. So as you know, rising wedge is a pattern that is going to break to the downside. So we waited for this break of this rising wedge, and this is where we got our entry. So the break of this wedge, we got our entry here, our stop loss here, then our take profit was actually here. Let me just take off this. Yes, so we had this impulse correction. Our first take profit was this level, but you can see price actually smashed through our take profit and then even went below, right? So we smashed our take profit, we broke below this first take profit level. Overall, we are actually expecting the market to come here, as you know, on the daily analysis that we made, right? Clearly we are waiting for this impulse correction. So we are waiting for the completion of this impulsive leg. So that is where our overall take profit is going to be. But let's just look right here how we could scale in, right? If we miss this entry, you can see we broke below this first take profit level. Impulse, the market also corrected right here, and then it's going down. You can see, so even if you miss this entry, this was actually a second opportunity, a break, correction, right? And then a break of this pattern. This is the same structure that we saw right here. So this is an impulse, so there's an impulse, there's a correction, and then the market is actually going down. This is how the market actually moves, right? So this is our first analysis on EURUSD. Let's jump onto gold. Let's see how gold also played out. So gold on the daily time frame, we can also see that the market is also trending to the downside, right? We have a lower low right here, lower high, lower low, lower high. Price actually broke this low, created a new low, and then the market is actually creating a potential lower high that will actually push the market to the downside. So our area of interest was actually this area right here, this price level, right? This was our support. Price broke the support and coming back to the support as resistance. So if we should zoom in, if you go down on the 4-hour time frame, we are actually looking at the price action at that resistance level. Now, one thing that you need to understand is whenever you have a support or you have a resistance and market is approaching that area, it's not about, you know, just the support or the resistance. It's about how the market is actually getting to that level. So if price is getting to a resistance correctively, then you can actually inculcate these kind of patterns that will actually trigger the market to the downside, right? So this is a corrective nature, corrective movement of the market structure towards an area, right? So we are getting to this resistance with this corrective nature. So one thing you need to also look out for is, are we getting there impulsively or we are getting there correctively, right? This is the market structure. So right here you can see that we got to this resistance zone correctively, right? Just let's compare this price action right here, right, to this. You can see this is an impulsive leg and this is a correction leg, right? So with a correction, what does this mean? You can see that right here clearly the buyers are actually leaving the market, right, because we are approaching a potential resistance zone, right? So right here, this is where the week also started. If I should put on my indicator, so we open right here, right? So we had a potential double top pattern. This was the first top, second top. We broke this neckline. That was when we confirmed that indeed this is a double top. We broke the neckline, waited for the retest, and then we entered. So let me just show you how we actually got into this trade. So right here, you can clearly see on the 1 hour time frame that we broke this structure and then we had a correction, right? Same. So impulse, correction, and then the market actually impulsed to the downside, right? So on the 4 hour time frame, let me just show you our entry candlestick. So we entered the market right here with this candlestick. Yeah, we entered the market right here with this candlestick pattern. So you can see the break, the correction, and then this engulfing candlestick. So when the engulfing candlestick printed, this is where we enter the market, put our stop loss right here, and our take profit at the 90% area of the pattern. This is something we also teach, right? Where to take our entries, where to take our exits, our 90% rule, and all of that. This is something we teach in our premium course, so don't miss out on that course. So we got in right here, and then you can see the market actually smashed our take profit massively, right? So let's also look at our last trade. That was EURCHF, right? You can see the setup right here. So there's also a textbook trade, right? Let me just clear everything. You can also see the market is just creating, you know, simple lower low, lower high formation, lower low, lower high, lower low, and this is a lower high that is going to push the market to the downside. So this was also our area of interest, right? This is a simple trade, right? Break and retest. So we had a support, break of support, retesting as resistance, and then move to the downside. So now, how is the market actually approaching this resistance zone? So if we should compare this price action, just look at this price action. This was an impulse, and then the market started correcting, right? So you can see that we are actually focusing on the price action. How is price getting to that area, right? So if you add our patterns right here, we had this rising wedge, formation, right? And as you know, rising wedge is actually a pattern that is going to break to the downside, right? So we had a break of this pattern and then a correction, right? So this is also impulse, correction, and then impulse. So this is where we got in right here, right after the break of this flag, right? Put our stop loss here, and our take profit is also the 90% area of this pattern. So this is where we took our profit, and you can see it's a very simple trade, but it's something that we teach in our premium class, and I just hope that you got something valuable from these sessions. You know, we're gonna bring to you market breakdown on every Fridays, and also on Sundays we're gonna also do a market forecast. So if you like these videos, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe, and also share this to your family and friends. Thank you so much for watching.